Hello and welcome to a custom mapcast, this time yet again on Deutz, made with yours truly, Trick_TV, and Classy Dave, one of the old maps from the previous season. We have Talisman, the west end of Deutz, on Soviet Union, and he insta-locks NKVD. He's running the 7% increased snare range on his RPG 43s, his 2% faster between shots, and reload on the conscript, and the 4% increased pen on the T-34 76s. Jae4Jett on the east end, running OKW with Scavenge Doctrine, Elite Armor, and the special operations. So far, it looks like it's going to be pretty standard for the openings. Kubl's a little bit interesting, but the bulletins for Jae4Jett are the 10% less received suppression on the Volksgrenadiers, 3% increased accuracy, and then the cheaper cost for the medical supplies from the Stern Pioneers by 7%. For those of you wondering what the map has done and changed-wise, really the only big changes have been improvement in pathing, especially in the north, but for anybody who's not sure of this map or hasn't seen it before, we have the cutoff in the south, mimicked by one in the north. And then we have a double cutoff to the fuel in the north from the east side, a double cutoff for the fuel in the south side from the west. Munitions right in the middle with the VPs offset a little bit. Now, the additional pathways that were open up are actually below the VPs and above. We added an additional flanking route up and around. So hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. We also improved pathing down here. We shortened this wall quite a bit and things of that nature. So, looks like the first engagement is going to be conscripts running into Stern Pioneers. Stern Pioneer is going to take a good chunk of damage closing this as I lose my voice. Close this gap. And they're still running at it. Drop one model finally. That negative cover doing its work, but the conscripts turning their back to that, get peppered with lead. Talisman's trying to delay as much as possible with the secondary con squad up, and he will do so successfully, but he's taking quite a huge chunk of damage on those cons. He's actually opting to go hang out on his cutoff now. It looks like this south fuel is going to go the way of Jae4Jett, while meanwhile in the north it was basically uncontested. The Kubel just was able to run up and back cap up here, so the Kubel paying dividends for the early map control, and the SWS truck out already. Thankfully it's been hot fixed, so it no longer has the Obersoldat and LMG invisibly shooting out of it. Stern Pioneers now hanging out behind the Bulldozer M4C Sherman, trying to delay these conscripts, but Talisman with no fuel, and Jae4Jett hyper aggressive. And here comes the new 221 scout car for OKW already. So the pressure has been applied, and I wonder if Talisman's going to read this and go straight into the RPG 43, or if he's going to go the early Molotovs like he likes to do. He's finally trying to contest this south fuel 3 minutes in. Stern Pioneer is still here, already vet one. If he's not careful, yeah, and there he goes. He retreats straight on out. Doesn't drop another model, so only 60 manpower blood off those. That's really big for Jae4Jett, how much damage they've done. And the light vehicle already coming out is going to be a huge problem. I assume the RPG-43 will be teched immediately when he sees that new scout car. TM-35 mine being placed on the northern fuel, so he's going to get both fuels under control. He was able to push the Kubel away, but didn't lose it. We'll see what happens. Both munitions now going the way of Jae4Jett. And is it being teched? No, he's content in just firing at it. Oh, no, it was teched. I missed it entirely. And it goes down. Tries right up, throws it away. So, big rush into the scout car. Lost immediately. Tripwire flare being placed down already on the cutoff. Taking that away did take away, for those of you who are unaware, the territory point and the munitions. So nice movement here, but the overextension can lead into losing units. Kubal's still hanging out in the middle, shoots at retreating conscript squads. Another tripwire flare trying to be placed. Kubal trying to push up forward. He's so content on contesting this territory point that does literally nothing right now. But he is trying to equalize in the south. The STG is coming out already. I'm very curious of the fact that he hasn't gone into any other Volksgrenadiers and is just going into MG34 already. Commissary squad's out as well. This will help buff up the conscripts and make them valuable until Vet 3. But he will definitely lose that engagement against two sets of cons with such a weakened Volk squad. Meanwhile, in the middle, Kubal looks like it may go down if he actually pens this. But with the introduction of the Volksgrenadiers, he will be able to back on and away. And again, just moving all the way up into this commissary squad. Gonna pretend to fire his pistol with the medic included in that as well. Conscripts walk right up close, and personal. He used the new ability, one of the two. I can't tell which one it is. I think it's hold the line. Yeah, it's hold the line. I think the not one step back gives the crosshair icon, but the incendiary nade throw down to deny the cover a little bit. Conscripts just walk out of it, even if it's a little bit slower, and handedly win the engagement 2v1. And the Kubal is going to go ahead and get repaired up in the north on the secondary cutoff for the fuel instead of working his way up onto the fuel and repairing it there. So maybe a little bit of a improper use of the Stern Pioneer's time that Kubal could limp its way the other 5 meters. MG34 is going to take 2.5 hours to suppress this commissary squad. That loss of that new scout car really hurting Jae4Jett's opening, but double MG34 is going to try and stop the red wave, if you will. But MG34, as you can see, doesn't suppress anything behind green cover. It takes several years, and he just caps up behind the middle VP. He actually takes more damage on the squad before he even gets suppression. And the double tripwire flare dropping 60 manpower right out that Stern Pioneer squad immediately. Very unfortunate that of all squads, Jae4Jett's currently fielding that. It's the Stern Pioneers get hit with that, while the Kubal is capping the north fuel, and it's trying to position in a way that it won't get snared up immediately, but it'll get contested, I'm sure. MG34 is not going to plant themselves behind the sandbags for the conscripts, utilizing that for themselves, while Talisman takes the cutoff in the south. Not that it's not taking away the fuel or anything, as it's already under his control, but regardless, Stern Pioneer is still fighting it out. He really wants these munitions. He actually keeps prioritizing them, oddly enough, and meanwhile, while he's doing all of that, he loses the Kubal. Did he just lose it without even getting snared? No, he did get snared. But not even an Ura just walked up and casually grabbed it. And Rakettenwerfer now being built as the Tier 3 is just now going down for Talisman, so the T-70 will be a little bit late with the early hold of both fuels by Jae4Jett for 3 minutes. But Talisman will be running into a Raketten as Jae4Jett is reading into this. It will be late, though, as normally the average timing is about 9 minutes. MG34 forced on and away. SCG Volks coming up trying to contest. Jay needs to get his Tier 4 ASAP. I'm really surprised that he hasn't even gotten it down yet, to be completely honest, but he's had such a hard time holding these fuels after that 3-minute extension of having both that is just not allowing him to get it down as quickly as he'd like, I'm sure. VP control going the way of Talisman now, along with the northern munitions opting not to move on to the south munitions yet, leaving the commissary squad on his cutoff. Rakettenwerfer going to try and actually, I wonder if he's doing that intentionally. Yeah, he is, to destroy the sandbags. And there it goes. As any green cover will eat projectiles like it's his job, so the Rakettenwerfer is actually a pretty decent tool of removing that. Problem is, with that fire, he's not going to have the surprise factor of the Raketten on the T-70. There is a secondary one coming out, though, but the T-70 has hit the field at about the 10-minute mark. SCG Volks taking on the cons. Combat engineers moving over to support. No ROKS-3 yet on these because of the RPG usage. The RPG-43, the anti-tank nade for Soviets. T-70 is here, and that's most likely a dead Volk squad, as the T-70 will be more than capable of killing it on the retreat. And of course, this looks like my T-70 misses every single shot. Normally, Talisman's T-70 just deletes everything, but it manages to get it. And then the Raketten does what it does best and misses the shot, doesn't even get any retaliatory damage on it. So, one Volk squad and Stern Pioneer squad, and then only team weapons. If Talisman was feeling threatened and or behind on this, I wouldn't be surprised if he went into a PM41, but as of right now, it's looking like Jae4Jett is going to struggle just to hold the territory points outside of his base. MG34 going to try and suppress and cover that retreating Volksgrenadier squad off that south cutoff, but not to much avail. Middle MG34 finds the suppression onto the conscripts. Secondary squad was looking to flank into the south on the middle of the Hohenzollern Bridge for Deutz, but the commissary squad comes up and chucks a good old nade onto it, destroys the green cover it was behind from the old scout car that it was on. A secondary MG34 is getting the suppression onto the commissary squad, but is it going to be enough to save that MG34? It looks like it will be. The unsuppressed conscripts not able to find the damage on that, and the Rakettenwerfer is backing off as well and just retreating outright. Secondary Rakettenwerfer still hanging out in the north. It was cloaked up, now finally decloaked, and T-70 finds it. Retreat path is going to be precarious at best, as that T-70 could just chase it down, taking good chunks of damage. It doesn't look like he's really interested, and he's going to contest the MG34. A third MG34 for Jae4Jett. I don't know if that's really the play. It looks like it's going to be gifts now for team weapons with the T-70 out. Losing that scout car really hurt Jae4Jett at the beginning of this. And he had it so fast, too. And then just drove it right into double snares. Ketten sets up. Maybe it'll actually hit this time, and it does. But with that, the conscripts will move forward. A Maxim now being built, so you'll have two forms of suppression. A third Rakettenwerfer. We're all in under the Tier 2 build, as he's never going to get that Tier 4 out, even though he has the fuel for it. 3 territory points to Jae4Jett's name. These tripwire flares just bleeding him dry on manpower. And soon the Armada T-34-76s will be under production. T-70 finding the Stern Pioneers, trying to get a hold of a VP, but not able to do so with the T-70 looming over them, and they wisely head back to base. The big thing right now for Jae4Jett is that he needs these VPs. Even having one is better than being triple capped, as he's only 270 to 467 in favor of Talisman right now. ROKS-3 finally on those combat engineers. Maxim hanging out in the middle. Mine usage behind the sandbags here. The TM-35, so if he does get pushed off and he goes for that territory point, he'll bleed more manpower. Volk's getting annihilated by that Maxim. Still an MG-34, now a 6-man crew with conscripts headed up into the north, and there's the Tier 4 truck being built, and I assume he's just going to place it right here. There's not really anywhere else that he can put it. He doesn't own any territory outside of the one territory point directly outside of his base. Talisman's all but funneled him inside of the base. Conscripts walk all the way up and say hello. MG-34 is picking up, pointing every other which way. Luckily, he has multiple, so he can get the suppression that he would like. He finds it onto the one conscript squad, and that turns into 2 conscript squads. The Rakettenwerfer heads home. The secondary one pointing towards the middle VP, waiting for the T-70 to ride in, but the T-70 is just content sitting down in the south, just hanging out. And now the commissary squad's behind all of this. The Maxim all the while firing into the MG-34, and the One does have to retreat with the flank from the north onto the MD-34 that is headed home. Rakettenwerfer heads home. Third one heads home. MD-34 about to head home. Everybody's going home, and now he can't even put down his tier 4 outside of his base as it's being contested and will most likely just die to the small arms fire of infantry. Stand your ground from the commissary squad utilized onto the conscripts. And with the yellow cover here, they're going to take quite a while to deal any real damage, especially despite having Stern Pioneers and Volks and an MD-34 firing at them. They only drop one model on about 50% HP, but he will finally get a territory point under his control. Maybe get that tier 4 down. Jae4Jett not throwing in the towel yet, even though he only has about 6 minutes before this game is just outright over from VP counts. And the tier 4 should be done. Yeah, it's being built back at base while Talisman takes his time on his secondary combat engineer squad to mine up everything. So as soon as this gets capped, he's going to try and put down the tier 4 to hold this. Now, the issue with that is if he puts it too far forward, which it looks like he is, it can easily be killed. But we'll wait and see. He just moves it up. This is a sight blocker, so it is vulnerable from the south. Rakettenwerfer is just firing on into these conscripts on that middle VP, trying to get rid of those sandbags. And he's going to set it up all the way up front. And it is not a T-34-76. No, it is the KV-8, which will make more than enough short work for those Rakettenwerfers. And, okay, T-70 comes up to try and contest the tier 4, gets one Raketten shot. 2 Raketten shot, 3 Raketten shot, and it goes down. But is it enough damage to take out this tier 4? It is blowing up every other way. Small arms fire is actually killing the Maxims walking up now. He's going to try and throw the incendiary on it, but the problem is that this Maxim can just sit here and fire into this. And despite all of this, even if he does complete this and it has a sliver of health, nope, it goes down anyway. The Maxim and the small arms fire was enough. The KV-8 is going to come out, and that's surely going to be the death knell for Jae4Jett. Rakettenwerfer's trying to snipe shots off of that conscript squad. The KV-8 is here. Let's just follow the KV-8 for a little bit, because this is gonna be what ends the game. Rakettenwerfer is still firing at infantry. Interesting that the KV-8 headed down to the south. Looks like he doesn't want to use it quite yet. 3 Rakettenwerfers, and here comes the Katyusha. Good choice from Talisman. There's so many team weapons now. 4 MG-34s. and 3 Rakettens. He means business. I think Jae4Jett might be confused that this is 3 years ago and then he's playing Soviets. And he just flanks all the way up in from the south. And hello. Time to get toasted up. Even the propaganda from the commissary is being used. I think it's 4 total packets of the deadly flyers, pieces of paper. KVA just rolling through this MG-34. It's not even firing at the right thing. It actually turned around to the KV-8, so no suppression came out on any of this infantry. 1 Rakettenwerfer goes down, another Rakettenwerfer goes down, 3rd Rakettenwerfer will go down. Oh, will he manage to retreat it out? Maybe? Nope, doesn't make it. Now we have Usain Bolt running off the map now for the Rakettenwerfer. And just like that, the KV-8 has 11 kills, and all the Rakettenwerfers for Soviets now. But Jae4Jett still not calling it out. He's going to stabilize. You'll wait and see. Jay pulling a full Von Ivan, just not calling it in, despite it being clearly over. But he does have 2 VPs. He actually is ticking his opponent now. Schumann on the fuel up in the north, not even connected to the base. He needs 2 points to be able to grab it up, and the stolen MG-34 is here to cover that retreat path of that Stern Pioneer. Commissary squad gets up close and personal against one of the 4 MG34s. The secondary one is holding the retreat path, getting a suppression. Katusha fires down onto the Raketin that was recrewed, one being rebuilt, and the MG34 didn't retreat soon enough, so it catches that last volley and explodes. Now the Commissary squad looking to go over to that. The Raketin Warfare trying to delete it so the Commissary squad cannot take it, and missing the first shot, so if it actually would have gotten it, it would have been enough. But now it looks like that he's not interested in this. No, he's not. He throws a nade right onto the Raketin, and that's enough to drop it again, and now he can steal it at his leisure. T-34-76 on the production line, headed to the front lines now. Meanwhile, the KV-8 still tries to make marshmallows out of all the OKW units. Will he pick up this MG34? I'd be very surprised if he didn't. Yeah, and he does. KV-8 looks like it's just going to go hang out in the base now. Not feeling too threatened by anything. There's only one Raketin Warfare going for the Stern Pioneer squad. Base defenses in the Raketin Warfare fire at it. The KV-8 heads home. Not willing to throw this game yet. Talisman's not. Good news is that we could, see the Sturm Tiger in the next hour. With Jae4Jett's current fuel income, so maybe the meme's alive. He goes down and recrews the MG34 with his Volksgrenadiers, and they promptly get lit on fire as the remainder of that squad retreats home. T-34-76 hanging out in the crater on the Hohenzollern Bridge in Deutz. Again, Werfer finds that shot. Where's that KV-8? Not looking for the flank, just hanging out. There comes the Katusha on all the team weapons. Will he pick up the MG34 again? It looks like he will not. So about 2 minutes left before Jae4Jett just gets ticked by VPs. Hey, the incendiary rounds, trying to fight that Maxim with the incendiary. MG34 means business. Raketin Warfare sneaking up. 1 of 3. Second one there behind it. Volksgrenadier flanks in from the north. MG34 looks like it's going to go ahead and go down, and it does. Incendiary chucked down onto those cons. Vet 3, though, they don't really seem to care. Stern Pioneer, though, and the STG Vet 4 Volks will be enough to get it to go away. Meanwhile, the middle VP, the Maxim, is just freely firing into one of the Raketins. And here's the KV-8 again. Not interested in finding the Raketin Warfare. Instead, he's just going for the Volk squad that just died. And he picks that up handedly, but they do get the snare off. And then, of course, the Raketin's the next priority target. And that should be all that it wrote. It should have been all that it was written for a while now, but Jae4Jett fully taking off of his NA compatriot, Von Ivan, and not throwing in the towel until it's over. T-34-76 even picks up with the whole MG, the retreating Stern Pioneer squad, as their Raketin Warfare tries frantically to actually get it to go away. Oh, and there's the anti-tank overwatch, just in case. GG's. Jae4Jett called it, like he said before the game, that he was going to try and make it look close. And he was actually slotted to win this game until that scout card went down, so it was a bit of a shame. But either way, we'll go ahead and get into the next one. That was a little bit of a clown fiesta, the second half of that. But either way, GG's. And we'll start up the next game.